Welcome back to the Retribalize podcast, where we talk about building the towns and the communities of the future. Today's episode, we're discussing a paradigm shift I see happening in the world, and that is the rise of a new counter-elite. And pay close attention to this. So the thing is many young and talented people, they want prestige. They want to rise to elite positions in society. But a lot of them are very disillusioned with our society. And the old elite ladder is dead. The old dream that has driven America for 100 years is dead. What is that old dream and why is it creating a new counter elite? So the old dream, my camera just died, so we're going to do it without a camera. Welcome to the podcast. So the 1950s vision of success was that you had a great career, right? And by focusing on your career, you could afford a great house, maybe on a lake. The dream was to build an awesome family, maybe have a few kids, right? You had the freedom to travel and ski, retire at 64 to travel the world, and you can make an impact in your community along the way. You probably joined the Rotary Club or something and helped out, your local school or something. And this was an awesome dream to have in the 1900s, right? And it worked back then because we had a strong sense of nation and community cohesion. It felt like you were a part of your town. It felt like you were a part of something bigger. You had a religious gathering space. The entire town would turn out to go to church every Sunday. You would see everyone. And also, single income households could sustain this dream. Just getting a good career, getting into middle management or an executive position in a company, you basically you were in the elite of society. So basically, you could be successful as an individual, start an individual family, and then still enjoy the fruits of strong communities and social structures. This is not the case today. It's very common knowledge that the middle class dream is nearly impossible with the price of homes, also the breakdown of, large social circles of friends. My generation, Gen Z, is lonelier than ever, chronically online. There's lots of problems. But the real problem, everyone, is that even if you win today, you lose, okay? Even if you are part of the 1%, you get the money, you get the freedom, you get the lifestyle. You look around once you have all that and you realize there is no people. There's no shared mission with your people. There's no higher ideal, higher sense of identity. Like, this is who we are. I take pride and love in the tribe around me, and we are heading towards an ideal together. There's no social fabric to land in. There's no being part of something bigger. And this is the deepest spiritual need within humanity. Just think back to the last time maybe you were at a music concert, you were at a festival, or you were at a sports game. And it's a very close sports game, and you're cheering with the entire crowd for your home team. And it felt like almost a spiritual experience of you and the team and the crowd and this whole community merges into this one organism celebrating this action, this ideal, this going forward together, right? It's a very deep spiritual need to feel like we're a part of something bigger. And that is not happening anymore, right? And this is why even when you win, you lose. I talked to many successful men, and even in the periods I've been most successful in my life, I'm traveling the world right now, built a successful online business. I'm even traveling the world with some friends. But I look around and I'm like, wow, where's the actual bigger project that I am supporting and contributing to? This is what I deeply want, and this is what a lot of people deeply want. And this issue is what is creating the counter elite in many ways. So the two main reasons that the counter elite is rising is, number one, the breakdown of social structures and the general decline of society. Things are not getting better. They've been getting worse for a while here. And the second reason is the institutions of prestige have fallen. The Ivy League schools, the great companies, elite positions in government, these things, a lot of these institutions are surrounded by red tape. They're uninspiring and they lack the vitality that they once had. And to give you an example of this, when I was 19, I dropped out of an Ivy League school because I was so freaking disillusioned with academia and mainstream society. I thought my whole life I wanted to build $1 billion business and be very successful. But then I saw that corporate world. I saw, the soul suckingness of New York City. For me at the time, that was my perspective. And I was like, damn, I need to turn away from this. I need to go find or build something better. And then I spent 10 years searching, right? I traveled America and now I'm traveling the world. And unfortunately, I've always been let down by what I found. like what I've always looked for is where's the tribes of inspiring people building something more than a business? Like where's the businesses that are building like the neighborhoods, the towns, the cities of maximum beauty and power? It seems like our art has fallen, our institutions, our academies have fallen. I don't trust the government in so many ways. And then where are the people who want to build together, who don't just want to start a business or a solo entrepreneurship problem, but want to build something bigger? And the thing is through all my travels and all my searching, I've lived in communities all over the world. Basically, the problem is there's no beacon lit for the counter elite, not until we light it. And many, many young people are waking up to this. So I talk to hundreds and hundreds of disaffected men every year. These men are the men who currently are or otherwise would occupy top positions in society. They're going to prestigious schools. They're going into prestigious companies like Goldman Sachs or investment banking or, KPMG or something like this. And you have to understand that like young and talented people, ambitious people, they want to rise into prestigious positions within society. It's a deep, desire. It's one of the deepest desires within humanity. That nothing's going to change that. But the problem is once they get into those systems, they realize that the prestige system is deeply corrupted, right? So there's very little room to actually reach elite positions. If we look at something like the Senate today, right? The Senate is the average age is over 70. It's a gerontocracy. When the Senate was initially founded, the average age was about 40, right? So elite positions are not open to the young and talented. We even see this in CEOs, in elite jobs. Unless you're doing a startup, most of these bigger organizations, they're run by the old and they're so bogged down with insane bureaucracy. Look at our institutions like the Ivy League. The Ivy League prestige has fallen so much in the last 10, 20 years. People don't even trust colleges anymore because they basically capitalized on the culture they once had to make more money based on tuition and shit. And then they play all these identity politics and they lost the driving ethos of creating excellence in higher education, right? So these institutions have fallen. The prestige institutions have fallen. And my co-founder, Brennan, who just, quit from working in KPMG and political think tanks and stuff, he was so uninspired by the job prospects and career ladders. When I speak of red tape, he had to work his job for 4 more years in the current position in order to reach the next promotion. And this is really backwards because if you are a great leader, what you should do in general is promote the young and talented, promote the people who demonstrate exceptional ability over people who demonstrate mediocre ability but have put in 10 years. Because when you do this, you create openings to elite positions, which actually is a funnel for more talent towards your institution. We have forgotten how to do this within America and within most big organizations. Hence, we create bureaucracies. We create this managerial class, and this class of managers runs the world. It runs the media apparatus. It runs the corporate apparatus. It runs the academic apparatus, and it runs our political apparatus. And all of this creates an uninspiring nation, an uninspiring company, right? Like, does Goldman Sachs really ring the virility and spiritual vitality in your bones? No, right? And if we think about the deepest, going back to wanting to be a part of something bigger, people do derive meaning from their jobs, but it's not quite enough for me. It's not quite enough for a lot of young and talented people. Young and talented people want to be on a team that's going to explore the new frontier, that's building something of titanic beauty and power, that's building a new town, that's building a new project, that's building a nonprofit that influences and impacts the entire world. They don't want just prosperity. They want to make a dent in the universe. The problem is there's a prestige vacuum outside of mainstream society. There's a deep problem with the existing alternatives. And I speak to tribe entrepreneurs on this channel, the men and women who are actively trying to build the towns, the cities, the communities, the civilization of the future. And if you really want to make lasting change and build something that's more than a commune or a half-done intentional community or, some kind of cult of the 1980s, what you need to think about is creating a parallel institution of prestige, okay? Because it is the young and talented, it is the counter elite that will actually build the structures and create the inspiration that will shake the world. So that's my thesis here. The problem is the prestige vacuum, right? So when you leave the mainstream, as I did many years ago, right? Few prestigious alternatives exist. Basically, what we're left with outside the mainstream is you have some like crypto startups and maybe SaaS startups. You could create content. Maybe that can give you some clout, like what I'm doing now, just, mining the world for clout. That's my entire mission here. My friend Steven laughs beside me. And then you can do entrepreneurial ventures. You can get some prestige from that. You can gain prestige on like X or chronically online chat rooms. But in general, like the in real life communities, they tend to universally lack higher drive or higher vision. There's very few counter elite prestige programs or parallel institutions. Some of these used to be something like Freemasonry. 1 in 3 men would have been part of something like Freemasonry in the early 1900s, and you could rise to master rank within your Freemasonic lodge, and this would have given you a sense of prestige, spiritual excellence, high network of, business owners and political leaders in your community. There used to be what I'm saying here is there used to be institutions that recognized and gave prestige. And when these institutions fall, like when you graduate from an Ivy League today, like it doesn't really mean anything. Like Freemasonry has fallen, and outside of the mainstream, there's no real institutions of prestige left. And then intentional communities and like the land projects that I'm acquainted with, they tend to be the bottom of the barrel. So when I left the mainstream society and I went and lived in spiritual communities, eco villages, things of this nature, exploring, alternatives, lifestyles and stuff, there's a serious lack of capacity, excellence, intelligence, talent going into that field. And therefore it kind of creates this appeal to the lowest common denominator. So this video, when we're talking about where can young and talented people turn to outside of the mainstream? They are longing for it, but it doesn't exist. So what we need to do as leaders out here is we need to clearly articulate and build a new dream so that when people are considering going to college, they look at their Instagram and they look at this insane academy in town happening in Montana, led by the Retribalize project. And it's an institution that has equal prestige to a normal college. But when you graduate from there, you can join a whole bunch of badasses building the city of the future. Like that kind of institution and that kind of new dream would be so freaking inspiring that it would attract top talent from all over the world. In fact, I do calls with top talent from the world every year, right? And they're coming to join me. I'm here in Guatemala right now. I have 3 or 4 guys coming out this month, a few more coming out next month. People are traveling the world with me, and our intention is to start that academy town. And I'm communicating this because we're building a new dream. That's just not about individual success. It's about communitarian flourishing. And this is what the old world does not understand. Let me break this down. So Alex Hormozi, I like Alex Hormozi, right? I think he's an amazing, business mentor. And he recently posted, as he becomes more successful, he has fewer friends because his successful friends are really busy. Brutal truth. If you want better friends, get used to seeing them less. And when I read this, I was like, this is what's broken in our world. This is what is so broken in our world, right? Is that he only aims for riches, not a flourishing tribe bringing forth works of tremendous beauty. Hence, he goes alone, and he constantly goes further alone. And honestly, this is because he lacks imagination. No shade on Hormozi or people in more elite positions in the society, but so many elites, they lack imagination, right? If you have $100 million and you are buying your 3rd home and 2nd sports car, I'm like, that's it? Really? I'd be starting a new civilization with the best entrepreneurs, artists, and visionaries in the world. I'd buy a street of houses and be the patron of the best, most talented young people in the freaking world with the clear intention of starting the greatest city that's ever existed. And I would just do that with $100 million, let alone $100 billion, right? So it's so interesting is like a lot of these elites, they are still living in with the old dream of individual success. And that's fine if you want to do that, right? But I'm just saying the new counter elite, the rising generation, they're not interested in that anymore. I don't freaking care. I don't care about buying my 3rd sports car. I care about building something that impacts the entire paradigm of the world. And this is why we will win, right? Because we have so much more charisma and inspiration. We're not playing the old dream, we have a new dream. And so the old elite, they rarely think about beyond financializing their money. in investing, quote unquote. They're not actually investing. They're financializing all their money so they can live off interest. They do some philanthropy on the side. And then live an independent life that they've worked for their whole lives. Again, I'm not throwing shade on the elites. I know people, I know great men and women who are more in elite positions in society. I'm just saying like you can make so much more impact if you don't worry about investing. You worry about building. So me and the elites, we're not the same, right? Yeah, like I said, when I have $100 million, we're going to become a magnet to the most talented people in the world. So this is the power of the counter elite, is that you're building something outside of the system and you have 100 times more inspiration and vocal power than those inside the system. So as I was alluding to, the new dream has to be centered around communitarian flourishing. So what that means is that it's not about building wealth alone. It's about building success, flourishing on a community level. The issue with communitarian flourishing is that if you don't filter a lot into your community, of course, you don't want to share everything with your community. But if your community has really high filtration, really high alignment, which the internet allows us to do, it's why I make all this content, is to reach the people who think and feel just like me, who want to build the great town, right? And to those people, I invite you to our men's academy. I invite you to come join us on the Retribalize app, the world's best matchmaker for finding your people. Version 2 is coming out and it's free for the community in my audience here. All the links below. Essentially, I believe in high amounts of filtration to find the people who you want to go the distance with. And once you find those people, integrating them into your life, into your wolf pack. When you start building a wolf pack of men and women who feel more like family than friends, all of a sudden you create a communitarian flourishing model where if you are the next freaking Alex Hormozi, I support you. Come be the next great Alex Hormozi, but instead of financializing your $200 million and buying more companies, how about we financialize that money into building the greatest academy the world has ever seen, right? This is what I'm saying about the counter elite is when you have a wolf pack and you put the wolf pack first, you put the community first, and then you use all your own skills and resources to make the community the most inspiring thing possible. And everyone else in the community is doing the same. You're going to create something that makes a dent in the universe, right? So what this means practically is deep bonds plus a shared destiny. As a leader, you're communicating the North Star and finding your team. There's also this ethos of I love my team, I have pride in my community, and we go together. Alex Hormozi, he goes alone. The old elites, they go alone. The counter elite, the rising generation, we go together. And we orient towards that which serves us and the whole. This is not self-sacrifice for a nation you're not actually bonded with. This is a natural tribal orientation. There's going to be a return to tribalism. This is why I call it the Retribalize project, not tribalism in the negative sense of these like ideological divides, tribalism in the sense of deep identity and belonging to your people. And yes, you can have openness to other people in X, Y, and Z. You can create whatever tribe you want, but we need tribe. Like we need tribe again. This is so important. This is creating the counter elite. And then a society of mutual benefit, as I was saying, right? So now let's talk about building the counter elite more practically, right? So I do want to say here is that I know a lot of different types of community leaders and people watch the Retribalize project. So if you don't quite vibe with this counter elite idea, that's cool. Like go build your spiritual eco village, go start your homestead with 15 friends. Our app and this whole project is still here to serve you. I believe in free association. Like if you don't like my dream, go build your own and guess what? I support you. Okay. As long as you're not, actively hostile to the people around you, we're good. But if you are into this idea of the counter elite, I think this is actually what's going to build the thing that can rival empire, is we need a new prestige structure, right? A counter elite magnet. So you need an institution that outcompetes the Ivy League, right? That outcompetes corporate ladders, that outcompetes lifestyle freedom, that outcompetes lonely success. You need to communicate to those in the system who are very talented, who could be elites, that we are obviously superior, right? If you are capable, ambitious, and alive, this is where you belong. Imagine creating an academy in a town with 150 people, and you have 5 of the best influencers in the world. You have 4 people building the next great companies there. You have some of the best infrastructure, alternative building methods, education system happening, and an academy of lifelong learning, right? You have like this new academy town happening. When you have this, and you have the 4 or 5 best influencers in the world making a variety of different types of reels, philosophy, and content, right? I mean, anyone who's graduating from high school or college at that moment knows exactly what business they want to work for. They want to work for the businesses of badasses building the new city. They don't want to go work for Goldman Sachs or Deloitte. Like, really think about the contrast I'm painting here, right? When you build in a town and a structure that appeals to the counter elite, this is how you attract top talent. And if you attract top talent, everything else is done for you. So if you focus here, everything else about building the next great town will fall into place. On this channel, a lot of people often ask me about, hey, what's your economic policy? Where are you going to build this? How are you going to have sovereignty from the system, right? Like, how are you going to, like funds, money, community, all the different problems. There's 1,000 problems. Like my thesis is I don't care. I really don't care, because I'm going to attract the most talented people from around the world. And if I attract the most talented people from around the world, guess what? Each one of them has their own expertise in one of those areas. And I'm going to let them solve that problem. So if there's a problem that you want to solve and you want to join the academy town, like, go first. Start solving that problem. Start building your network. Use the Retribalize app to meet the most highly aligned people in the world. Build your team, and then come merge your team with our team. And when we do this is how we can create these visions on a much bigger level than an intentional community with 20 people, right? So our vision at the Retribalize project, it's not a commune, it's not a retreat, it's a counter elite town, right? So it's built around meritocratic business, innovation and beauty, academy ideals, and status based on character and contribution, right? Other videos have gone much deeper into what we're trying to do. Right now we're doing like a pop village in Guatemala. I'm constantly filtering the network, finding the people who want to go build the thing. Let's go be pioneers, my friends. And what makes this work, what makes all of this work, right, is basically, as I was kind of alluding to, is like you just need hubs of highly aligned, highly inspired people. This is the only place, and the only real thing you need to start with is like, find your people, go figure out how to build resources with those people. And those 2 things alone will shake out to who's going to go the distance with you and how can you make money that can support some of the bigger projects, right? Another thing that's going to make this work, especially in America, is the academy town is returning to the American ideals. You see, America was founded on frontier energy, self-governance, and radical innovation. Basically, the people coming over to America were like, I want religious freedom. I want freedom of speech. I want to go to the new freaking world. They're crossing oceans. They're crossing deserts. They're crossing Great Plains to build new self-governing towns. Yes, there's a shadow to colonization and conquest of the native people, but nonetheless, like, what made America work in the beginning and what the American identity was founded upon was this idea of being a frontiersman, of going into the unknown and mastering open spaces, right? And the interesting thing is, and why I want to build the academy town in America, is that this is a return to the fundamental and guiding American tradition, right? We're going to build a self-governing town in the new frontier, and the new frontier is online first, real life second. And the new frontier is one of cultural significance. It's about building something of prestige, of like real power. That's not just a commune or a cult, but something at the next level, right? Returning to the American ethos is going to be a huge strength of ours, right? And I've talked about the competitive advantage already and why we're going to win. So going forward from here, my friends, I could say a thousand different things about this. But if you are a tribe entrepreneur, just think in terms of building a team that's inspiring, attracting, talented people in a diverse, area of fields, and go together. If anything, just start a club. Find one person, find two people, find people who you are highly aligned with and start going together. This is where all great dreams happen. This is where all great visions, businesses, they're sparked from, like best friends, really. It's what you need to find as a best friend or two. This is why we built Retribalize.ai, our app. It's free right now for everyone on this channel. It's an AI matchmaker designed to connect you to the most aligned people and projects in the entire world. We only have 400 people on there right now, but version 2 and a big marketing push is coming at the end of the month. So be an early adopter, come be a founding member there. And there's also a link below if you want to join our tribe entrepreneur cohort, meet me, work intimately with me and other people on the team and other people like yourself. There's a link below to join the wait list for that. Anyways, my friends, go check out this video on the screen here. Peace.